I'm gonna just document very quickly. Like here's all the artwork. I'm gonna turn it right side up. The whole sculpture is upside down right now. So I just want to show you guys. I'll zero in on the upside down tiger. You can see, if you look, you can see the tiger's head right there going that direction. And you can see the stripes in his body, and I'll kind of zoom out and you can see his back legs and his tail right there. So the tiger right there is upside down, but you can see the tiger. And then, so it was the strangest thing. I heard the Lord tell me, now I want you to invert your whole wall. So I'm going to show you this right now so you can see it from this point of view. You can see that looks like a crucifixion. You can see what would be the head right there and the arms going out. But I'm going to show you something very strange. See right there how that looks like an insect with mandibles right there. That's really a devil with horns right there, but it's upside down. You can see it's a skull upside down. Those are the horns. But from different angles, it looks like different things. But the whole thing is upside down and backwards. But now I'm going to flip the whole thing, and when I flip the whole thing, I'm going to light it up and just show you what it was before I got saved. And it goes over to here, and so I got to clear all this off and show it all to you. So it all goes over to here, and there's locusts coming out of the pit. I just have stuff in the way, but this is it. And these are two other pieces that I just ended up putting there because it was just a convenient place to put them with the lighting and stuff, because I was just rearranging a bunch of stuff. So anyway, so we're going to flip the whole thing, and you're going to see that before I got saved, somehow I carved into metal Jesus coming on the clouds of heaven and all the angels with him, and it was the final judgment and people going into the lake of fire. But like I said, the whole thing's upside down right now, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of crazy looking. I see a lot of crazy stuff in it. Anyway, all right, just documenting. There it is before I flip it. Okay, so this is just, I'm showing y'all that how I'm starting to set up the artwork like I was going to be doing an art show back in the old days. Look at the depth in that. Look how far back all that goes. Anyway, but I'm just showing you guys the two pieces right above there. There's the one, the rectangle to the right and to the left. Those were actually different pieces to the original sculpture. That's not even part of the original sculpture, but there it is. All right, so I'm doing a quick, just let you guys see what goes into like setting all this up. I'm gonna leave it in black and white so you can see the depth. You can see like this looks like the trunk of a tree right here. It's hard to like see while I'm doing this. There you go. Let's see. There you go. How this looks like the trunk of a tree going up. But there's all these different angles of the crucifixion of Christ is what it is. And you can see like over that way underneath what looks like the branch is going up, which is his arm going out. You can see back and forth. That's water coming down. And those are people that are going down, those little dots. You see they're like, I'll go back and forth. They're coming down the water, and they're coming down one river. There's two different rivers, and they're going over the edge into the lake of fire. And I'm going to light all this up. I'm just showing you guys what I'm kind of working on and how I'm putting it all together. It's very interesting to me that I heard very clearly, now show everybody all your artwork from before you got saved. It's fascinating just to see the manifestation. Obviously, I don't sit here. I know how the other team gets. I don't worship the artwork. I have no interest in praying to the artwork or using the artwork as some kind of a talisman. However, it's pretty fascinating to get to see over my shoulder what I was doing before I got saved and how it would bear witness to the rest of my life. Kind of like Moses, his name means drawn of the water. And when you understand the depth of just how big that is, that we are all drawn out of the water And Moses, as a child, was put in the water, and he was raised as a prince of Egypt. So anyway, this is going to be a very deep video. If you look behind me, you can see the depth. You can see how far back all that goes. Watch. I'll get back here. Just look at the depth over there. So I haven't put any lights on it yet. There's no paint on the painting yet. And you can see back behind me how far back that all goes. And that looks like a cut, like, you know, another depth, another layer coming out. Now right there where you see that, what looks like another layer coming out, you'll see, let's see, I'm trying to find it. It's hard to do. Okay, so you know what, I'll turn this around. Yeah, so I'm turning it around, and like I said, I'm just using black and white. I mean, just, you know, regular lights right now. I'm going to put the paint on in a little bit. I was telling you about the tree trunk. And then down there, see in the bottom, that's the pit. That's the angel of the bottomless pit. And all the souls that end up there are coming down. That river right there, they're coming down. See, that's a river coming towards you, coming towards you, coming towards you, and then emptying out. Right there's the edge. And it turns into a waterfall going down. Looks like it turns into the head of a serpent down into the pit. Okay, now we'll go up the trunk of the tree again. There's the trunk. All these are different images of crucifixions. If I hold it right there, you can probably see what looks like a skeleton type thing. If there's all different angles of the crucifixion, there's different positions of the head. There's different body positions, but it makes a giant tree. And you can see the movement, like you can probably see this wall right here, like look, images looking at it. Now I'm going to step back from it. You can see how three-dimensional, this is a flat piece of metal, guys. And so anyway, then over here, when you get over here, that goes way back, and you see those lines like right here, that's like water, and now it's turning to like jungle theme. And then you'll see the tail right there. That's the tail of the tiger. And there's the tiger right there disappearing. You see the water behind the tiger right there. You see the tiger's head right there. And his movement is going this way. And then if you look right here, it turns into a whole different thing, like a whole nother world. You can see birds flying over the water right there. You see the images of the birds. I'll zoom out. That's the water, and there's mountains on both sides, and there's like the moon in the background. See it? Anyway, so the tiger is leaving the dimension, and then you can see right here, like I said, I'm just documenting what this is. I haven't lit any of it up yet because it all moves. It all changes, even if you take one step to the, like 2 inches to one direction. Right here you can see what was the top of the head. You can see eye, mustache right here. So eye, top of the head, hair coming down, shoulder. And then if you look over here, you'll see a sword going up. And as I come back, so, and I'm not gonna, like I said, to see details, you have to sit and look at it for a long time and just move from side to side. And things just change. It literally moves. This artwork moves. And then you'll see an angel right here, and this would be the top of the head. And then here's the wings going up and going down. So top of the head, body right here, moving this direction, another wing going back, coming down, and a myriad of angels behind him. And so it's Jesus coming on the clouds of heaven with all the holy angels and Michael, and Jesus has his sword drawn, and then there's Michael coming behind him, and then they're coming to destroy all this. And so this is the stuff that I'm going to light up, and I'm going to finish all the artwork. And here's the locusts coming out of the pit. And what's so crazy is when I was trying to decide how to make these entities like xenomorphs coming out of a dimension, I was like, well, I saw weatherheads at the hardware store, and I went, you know what? I'm going to use those because they have that shape of like the xenomorph head in the Sigourney Weaver movies. And so those are the locusts coming out of the pit that have tails like scorpions. Anyway, and so there it all is, and I have the Garden of Eden here, and I'm gonna go over it. You can see a male body right here. If I showed you, that's his behind, and he's on his knees, and that's his shoulders and the back of his head. And then there's obviously a female in front of him. And so anyway, I'm just gonna hold that there for a second. You guys can probably pick out the outlines, but it does a whole lot more. And then I had done the Garden of Eden, and that orange thing is the back of my head. I put myself in the Garden of Eden, and then that is one of the ads for vampire sunglasses. Just absolutely crazy. So the point is, and there's the serpent coming into the garden. I'm going to go over all this stuff once it's lit up, but you can see the serpent, the head of the serpent, and see everything has different strokes. So you see the movement, it moves. The whole thing literally moves. So anyway, and then I have angels coming down from heaven right here. There's an angel right here. There's his back of his head right here. There's his arm right there. There's his back. There's his wing going back. And as I zoom back, the wings turn into mountains, and the mountains come down. So here's the edge of the mountain coming down here to the valley, and you can see the water. See the back and forth lines? That's water coming through the valley. See it? And then over here again, I have the same thing. There's another angel facing this direction, and the wings go up and down, and they go up and down. They also make mountains. So the bent wings of the angel also second as mountains, and it turns into a valley. So you can see, if you look, you're looking down a valley with water in it. See it? So, and then there's a planet that's basically almost at ground level. It's so close. And it's Saturn. And there's the serpent coming out of Saturn, and the serpent going into the garden. And that's where there's fornication going on. And then the front of this thing right here, you can see different outline of women, and so you can see the whole cut for eyes, the hair in the face, and as I move, it all changes, and you can see the female forms. That's female, obviously from behind. You can see the hair and the movement, and it's all, nothing's meant to be precise. It's meant to show the form and the movement. And so on the front of this is all these females, but coming out of the dimension behind all the females, like coming out of the pit, are locusts. Like the females were used right there as bait for the angels right up there to come down and breed with them. They were used as bait to create locusts coming out of the pit. I wonder what the odds are that that's what my artwork is before I got saved, and that's the back of my head in the Garden of Eden. So that the head and then my shoulders, and I put myself in the Garden of Eden, and this was all during the time I was doing vampire sunglasses. And these are two separate art pieces that stand alone. This is a release right here, like a breach and release. And it's all about energy, basically, and of setting free. Anyway, it's not all lit up. I'm just working on it. Wanted to show it to you guys. Got it going. I'm going to light it all up, and then I'll go over it one more time. But this is what the Lord had me do. I don't understand everything sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I understand what he's telling us. So I would surmise with everything that's here that I did before I got saved, that the Lord has let me basically prove all these strange things that are already carved in metal before I ever got saved. I mean, do y'all understand how crazy? I mean, do you understand how crazy all this is? To be the guy that the Lord proved there was a serpent race. The Vatican's a snake. Who in the world knew the Vatican was a snake? Nobody. What about the building alongside? It's a snake, parthenogenesis. And so before we get saved, somehow, I mean, obviously the spirit that's running you, a superhuman angel demon, manifests what you are. And I was just manifesting it. It's so crazy. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of pause this and I'll just leave this for right now. And then once I light it all up, I'll document it and do a testimony on it. There you go. So just doing a little document this stuff. This is kind of overwhelming. Just the whole idea of what it is. And so as the colors change, and that's actually water, and those are people in the water floating down. They're coming down. If you look deep into it, it's like you see people coming down. Those are the heads sticking out of the water, flowing towards you. And it's coming down, and the water's going over the edge right there. It changes direction. It doesn't go side to side anymore. It changes, and it goes over the edge, goes to the bottomless pit. Here, I told you, is a tree. Let's see, it should be green. I can make it. Let's see, changing the color of the lights. It's going to require just tweaking, but let's see. Anyway, you can see it goes up and it spreads right and left. Anyway, like I said, I'm working on the lighting like I was going to have an art show. And there's the escaping tiger. And I'll talk about just what it all meant when it was being done. It's been a super long day, just getting all this stuff ready. Anyway, all right, save that for tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start right here with Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and I want you to look at what you're looking at. That is a serpent being inside Akhenaten. I've drawn every layer. I've drawn over it. I've layered it. That's the head of a serpent being. There's the eye, there's the nose, there's the frowning mouth, top of the head. There's the neck. He's holding a child. And then the head of the kid, the most important thing of all to understanding, there is, there is a reptile right there, a baby reptile in the fetal position. And as I show you the other layer, the whole thing becomes a sheep with its tongue sticking out. Obviously, there's the tongue, there's the eye of the sheep, there's the ear of the sheep, nostril, tongue, eye, ear. So there is a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out, but there's a reptile in the head of the kid. There's the serpent being, and the serpent beings are hid within the serpent race, the Egyptian pantheon of gods. Now, here we go. Now, this is all on a video called Kingdom Divided. You can see that the head of the serpent being becomes a scrotum and a penis penetrating, and there's a girl on her knees right here. That's the eye, that's the top of her head, hair going down. This is her buttocks going to her knee, her legs shooting up behind her body. There's her hip, there's her other knee, her legs shooting out. So here you have the agenda. Lady Gaga, my performance at the Grammy Awards is about a new race of beings being birthed within the human race, and you're looking at it. What kind of race is it? Well, it's a reptilian race right there in the head of the kid. It's a consciousness. And then there's the dead sheep. So the serpent race is killing the sheep race. And let me show you what's going on down here. So if you follow Akhenaten's body and you go down here to his legs, these become flames, and then look right here. His feet are holding the lid shut to a guy trapped in hell. See, he's trapped in hell. Look how they made devil horns on the front of his forehead, because we got turned into the devil. Over here, Nefertiti, it's so obvious it becomes a serpent coming up. There's the eye of the serpent. There's the nose of the serpent. But the whole thing is really the body of the child. There's the head of the kid, and there's the arms of the child, and this is the torso of the child, really. And they're trying to tell you that his leg looks like a pork chop, but it's really the head of a serpent. You can see the serpent very easily when I point out the eye. And the serpent is eating that kid. When you turn this upside down, this entire thing becomes like, it looks like an Arab, and he's eating his own kid. I call it the creature. Now, I've done all these images and I've drawn in all these lines to prove what's hidden in the watermarks. If there's the eye of the serpent, there's the eye of the serpent coming down to the nose of the serpent. There's the fang of the serpent. It's a sperm. You can see how obvious a sperm is. It's a fang. Look how obvious that fang is. So when I show it to you, when I did it the way the Lord told me to do it on a light board, you can tell that that's the fang of a serpent. But then you see the little twist at the corner of the eye, and then it goes down, it becomes a sperm. Then the other fang is the shadow. And it becomes very easy to see, but the only way I could have done this is he'll follow the Lord's instructions and put it on a light board. You can see the serpent in the background, with that being the fang, that being the fang, and the whole head of the serpent. You can see the T-Rex pretty easily. There's the eye of the T-Rex. There's the eyebrow. Here's the open mouth. I've got it in all the folders, but look at the serpent. Look how obvious the serpent is. Look how obvious the serpent is right there. Serpent being Pharaoh, serpent being. What's the common denominator? Serpent. 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 Now let's look at Johnny's crazy artwork. Okay, I told you I'd light it up for you. Here's a table that I made. I was experimenting with lights, and every light becomes its own little mirror. So if I move my finger like this, you can see the reflection in all the little marbles going around, because each one is its own mirror. Anyway, so that was a table that I made. It was a little lighting experiment. You can see how it moves. Okay, but so now let me just pause this and let me just talk to you for just a minute. So why would the Lord want me to show you my artwork before I got saved? Well, isn't it fascinating that since I got saved, now everything and everywhere I've gone has ended up being a serpent race that's destroying a sheep race. The Vatican is a serpent. What's it doing? It's eating a sheep. Well, that's the same thing going on over there. Akhenaten and Nefertiti. They're both serpents destroying sheep. Same thing with the Barack Obama presidential portrait. It's a serpent. What's with all the serpents? It's kind of crazy, huh? Now let's look at the artwork that I did before I got saved. Let me just kind of focus on this. It's switching. That's supposed to be on steady. We'll see what happens. Okay. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see it. The point of showing you this is my artwork that I did before I got saved bears witness to everything the Lord taught me. It's so crazy. How in the world did I do all this artwork and it ends up bearing witness to the same thing as the hieroglyph or the presidential portrait or the Vatican being a snake? How's that even possible? Well, because if you're unconscious, half asleep, and another race is running you, the things you do before you get saved are a manifestation of what's running you. And it's pretty obvious that I was very plugged in, as the case may be. So now I'm going to get myself out of this thing, and I'm just going to show you what all this is. Okay, so I'm gonna make a noise so the middle changes. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so yo, there it is. That down there is the pit. Right up there under that arch, you see all those heads? Those are all the people that didn't accept the free gift of God, which is Jesus Christ. And they're coming down a river. See the river? They're coming down and they're going over the edge. Right there, that's a waterfall. See it going down? And they're going down into the eternal abyss. That's why there's a skull down there with horns on it. Into the eternal abyss, that angel of the bottomless pit. And then those are all the people that didn't take the free gift of God, and they're going down one river into the eternal abyss. Now, I'm going to make a loud noise. There you go. So you see that? It keeps changing colors. Those are different images of a crucifixion. And there's so many different angles of the crucifixion. If you sat here and you looked at it for any length of time, you'd probably burst into tears, because it doesn't take long before you start seeing different locations of the head, the arms, different directions it's looking. And it all makes a tree, the tree of life. Now, mind you, I did all this before I got saved. It's just beyond my comprehension in my brain what the Lord had in store for me. I had no idea that I would end up getting saved and that my art would bear witness to who I was and what I was doing. It's just beyond the human brain. So anyway, so there's the tree of life, and there's the people that didn't take the free gift of God. And then over here, I just made a blue tiger, and there's the blue tiger. See the blue tiger? And the blue tiger is escaping. And he's escaping, if you just look kind of back into it, it's like through the jungle and then going into another dimension. And so if you look over there, that's just kind of like an exit where the blue tiger is going. This was called Dream of the Blue Tiger. Now let me show you something. There's different images of Christ. Well, when I say different images, it's the same image but from different directions, and you can't see certain features unless you're standing at certain places to see it. But the original part of the image is the top of the head right here, and then the shoulder here, and then the arm here, and a sword going up, and then you'll see the outline of an angel right here, the head right here, and the wing going up. And it's all about movement, another wing going up. And the whole thing's about movement. So there's Jesus coming on the clouds of heaven, and all the holy angels and a myriad of angels with him, behind him, and coming for judgment. And this is the system that's coming to be judged, that they're coming to judge. Now let me show you what this is, because this is just truly mind-boggling. So those are a bunch of females. I would take out a magazine of nudes and I would just carve them with a grinder. These images are done with 7.5-inch grinders, which is basically next to impossible to do this. You can't get any detail, but you can get the idea. You'll understand what I'm saying when you're looking at it. Even I had cutouts for eyes, and as you move, everything changes. So there's a bunch of women right here in the front, but then you'll see locusts. You'll see locusts. See the locusts coming out everywhere? The locusts are coming out of a dimension because as I zoom out, you'll see that they're coming out of a dimensional trough. Those are the locusts. See the circle right there? That's all a circular motion right there. And the locusts are all coming out of there. But look what the bait was. It was the women. Neither shall you touch it lest you die. So let me show you what's on the top here. So here's an egg being fertilized by sperm. That's what this was. Again, I did all this before I got saved. So that's a female egg being fertilized. Those are the tails of the sperm right there. But then they turn to like rays of the sun, and they're going this way. And then you can see that turns into like a comet ball rocketing out of this. And then as I go back, you can see a scene right here that's a valley. This is a valley that goes way back. Let me show you. See, the valley goes way back there, and the river goes way back, and it winds like this, back and forth. And there's an angel right here with his wings going up, but his wings also make mountains. So this is the edge of a mountain coming down to a valley. There's another angel right here, but they're like shadow. They're made to look like shadows moving. So as I go this way, you can see the valley, and then what looks like an angel moving, and then his wings also become mountains that go down into the valley. So angels are landing, and the angels that are landing, let me show you what's going on. They're having sex, and I want to get out of the light. There's the back of a guy's head. See the 3D head? The shoulders, the back, there's the rear end, there's the back, there's the head, and there's a female in front of him, and this is a representation of the garden. And there's the serpent coming into the garden, and then there's all these xenomorphs that are coming through because of the union. And I put myself in this other piece, the Garden of Eden, and that's the back of someone's head, and that was the bait for God's angels. And this is what this art piece was all about. So it's about fornication in the garden, and I'll just pause and let you look at it for a minute. There's fornication. Here's the destruction coming for the fornication. There's the angels that are landing in the valley. That's Saturn, and the rings of Saturn turn into a serpent coming into the garden. There's the head of the serpent coming out of the rings of Saturn right there, and Saturn is hovering right over the valley right there. And again, Jesus is coming with his sword drawn, and all the angels to destroy the entire system, and locusts are coming out from behind it. And if I go like this, you can see like the cracks, like the earth is cracking, and they're coming out of that dimension. Do you think it's weird that the Lord had me do this, or knew I would do it before I ever got saved? And then after I got saved, I can show you locusts on the corner posts of the Vatican. I can show you the Vatican, the list of popes has locusts when you turn a human upside down. And isn't it odd that the very thing that I carved in metal using light is my medium? The very thing is what the Lord showed me. I mean, do you find that just impossible to believe? I do. I mean, look how 3D that is. There it is. So that would suggest that maybe the time's here. I sure hope so, because I am really, really one tired camper. But anyway, again, now I know there's the crazy channels, and they're going to say, see, Kleck's an idolater. I mean, no, Kleck was an artist before he got saved. I don't do art anymore. It's not something I do, but it's something I used to do. I mean, that's grinders. Those are grinders. That's unbelievable. Anyway, all right. There it is. I documented it. I don't want to really belabor it any further. I'll probably do another video where I just, really tweak all the lights. But I don't feel like doing that because it's just not my thing anymore. But now you understand what it is. But I want to show you something right here. It says dream right there at the top. Dream of, and it's a blue tiger, but it ended up being carved over a little bit, the words dream of a blue tiger. I didn't want you to be able to see all the words. The Lord told me a long time ago, after I got saved, look up the meaning of a dream of a blue tiger. It'll blow your mind. All right, peace and grace.